And this is a time when what happens? Actually, one of my sons has sniffles. This is when people get sick. This is also when people start to feel kind of heavy and lethargic or agitated and anxious. These junctures are vulnerable windows. So what do we do when we feel sick or sad or anxious? We go to mama, right? And though it's a vulnerable time, this juncture between seasons, it is also a powerful time. We call it Sandhi. A Sandhi is a threshold. It's a doorway between places. And so when we're standing in a doorway, we're neither here nor there, but doorways are also profound places. A threshold has this feeling of, wow, I'm stepping into a new realm. I'm curious. It's a mystery. And so it's full of Shakti if we know how to plug into Mama. And we all know how to plug into Mama because we've all been plugged into Mama at least once before. Where? In the womb. For those magical 9 months, the number of the goddess, we were all plugged in from the navi, from the belly button to the divine mother. So it's not that hard to get plugged in again, but it's especially easy to get plugged in during these 9 days and nights, these Navratri, so we feel rejuvenated, refreshed, renewed, and we can at least survive until the next Navratri. And if you don't think you can survive till next year, you can at least survive until next month when we have another Navratri, when the waxing moon begins again. So that's Navratri.
Thank you, Nai.
Jai Ma.
So as usual, we'll open up with a chant of Ganesh. Ganesh is not a goddess, but Ganesh was created by a goddess. Kind of an immaculate conception of things
Probably, you can get there.
Another kirtan leader here on Wednesday night, one of the things he said was, God understands gibberish. Don't worry about pronouncing it exactly right. I think God also is tone deaf, so we don't need to worry about that. And though we don't really have a lot of dancing room, usually we have the back of the room, because I don't personally consider kirtan a sedentary experience. It can be, and that's perfectly okay. But it's also, a great movement thing too. Hello, you like to share? All right, so on to the Divine Mother. Now Namaste.
well, what was this one?
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Ma! Okay, get your blankies out. Time for story time with Naya. What story are you going to tell us tonight?
So I thought about telling a story, and then I decided instead that it might be nice to take us through the progression of the Durgas, which teach us something about our own progression of life and also about the life of a devotee as well. So is that okay if I tell you about 9 Durgas, and then I'll slip in some of the stories. Each of them have many stories. Can you all hear me okay? They asked if I wanted a mic, but I didn't think I need one. You can hear me? Yeah, okay. I'm very used to yelling at my children, because sometimes Ma has to be fierce, sometimes Ma has to be loving, and we see in these 9 forms of Buddha that some are more fierce and some are more gentle. One of the things that we do during Navratri is we make an offering of a ghee lamp. Have you all seen a ghee lamp, a wick in the ghee at the fire? So the Devi is like that. She is soft and gentle and nourishing like the ghee, but she can also be fierce and burn you like the flame. And you need both. If you have only flame, no good. If you have only ghee, also no good. You need both in balance. And so you'll see that some of the forms of the goddess are more fierce, like fire, and some are more nurturing and gentle and buttery, like the ghee. Okay? So the Navratri has Navadurga, so 9. We talked about 9 before. Has 9 Durgas, and it takes us through kind of the life of the goddess as though she is a woman, which she is, but she's really a divine woman. But before she is Durga, she is the divine Sati. Some of you have heard of Sati Devi. This is the first wife of Shiva. Sati Devi was married to Shiva, but her father, Daksha, did not approve of this marriage, did not approve of his son-in-law. Because Shiva does not follow regular social conventions, and he looks strange, and he's followed around by many strange-looking ghouls and goblins and creatures known as the Ganas. And so, one time, Sati's father, Daksha, was holding a huge celestial ritual, a yajna, and he invited all of his many, many, many daughters, and all of their husbands, and all of the rishis, the sages, and all of the gods, except for Shiva and his wife Sati. Sati was annoyed, confused, and so she decided that she would go on her own to this yajna and ask her father why were they not invited. Was it just a mistake? Did it get lost in the mail? Was it intentional or what? And she went, and she asked her father, and her father first ignored her, and then finally came out with it and said, I don't approve of your husband, I don't approve of the marriage, and I never will. Now, Sati had already previously taken a vow as the divine mother. Before she took birth as Sati, she said, fine, I'll be born, I'll take avatar, I'll take birth, but if my parents ever disregard me, I will disregard this body. And so that's what she did. She went into a deep meditative state. She said, I will never return unless I can be born to parents who support me. And then I will marry Shiva again. And then she immolated herself. She went up in flames. Okay? Bummer. Especially to Shiva, who went into a deep state of grief, rage. An entire battle ensued, which we're not going to get into. It's very gruesome and gory. My children love that part of the story, so you can well imagine lots of decapitations and blood and all kinds of things happen, but we won't tell that story today. And so it is that Shiva went into grief for thousands of years, and eventually Sati was reborn. And she was born to Himavan, who is Lord of the Himalaya, Himavan, Himalaya, Lord of the Himalaya, and his wife Nina, who was a beautiful, celestial goddess and Apsara. And so she is born as Parvati. But she gets the name, this little cute nickname, Shailaputri, which is the daughter of the Shaila, the Putri of the Shaila, the mountain, daughter of the mountain. Because when we are children, we don't have our total independence yet. We are someone's daughter, or someone's son, someone's child. So this Parvati is born to these parents, and so she is known as Shailaputri. And Shailaputri is the first goddess that we honor during Navratri. So she's baby number 1, the child. Okay? And Shailaputri represents childhood, the childhood of the goddess, and also our own childhoods, our innocence, the youth, but also she represents the spark of the desire because she was born due to the desire to marry Shiva. And we all are born of desire. In fact, the body, the deha in Sanskrit is called the desire body. We're born because of the momentum of desire from past lives. And if we're lucky, if we have punya karma, means good luck, good fortune, we get born to dharmic parents. Some of us were lucky, some of us were less lucky, some of us it's kind of mixed. But Shailaputri is lucky. She is born to dharmic parents who support her. So this first day of Navratri also represents good conditions. The good conditions that we need and want in order to accomplish our desires. Make sense? If you want to accomplish a goal, you need good conditions for the goal. If you want to celebrate Navratri, you need a good condition. If you want to come to the kirtan, you needed the car to run. I don't think any of you, some of you might need babysitters. That doesn't look like it too much, but I needed my husband to agree to take care of the children. You need a good condition in order for you to accomplish a goal. And so that first day of Navratri, we contemplate our desires, our deepest dharmic desires, and we contemplate the conditions that we need to accomplish what we want in life. So that's the first day of Navratri, Shailaputri. And for the devotee, what does she represent? She kind of represents, I think of it as the innocence of the early stages of devotion. So think about the first time maybe you went to a kirtan. You have no idea what's happening. Who are these gods and goddesses? What is this language? What are we doing? But something inside happens, and it's at the emotional level. And what are children? They're emotional. They're not intellectuals. They're not philosophers in the beginning. They're emotional beings. And that's the beginning of devotion. The devotional life in the beginning is just emotional, not intellectual. It's just a feeling of love for the divine. Okay? Day number 1. So now, day number 2. What happens after youthful, innocent childhood? Teenage life. So the second day of Navratri is dedicated to Brahmacharini, and this is the goddess in her teenage form. What does a teenager do? They sort of rebel against the conventions of society. So her parents say, it's time to get married, you're of the age, and she says, never mind that, I'm going up into the peaks of the mountains, and I'm going to meditate on Shiva until he appears. But because she had that good fortune, that punya karma, her parents say, okay, we support you, what do you need? We'll send you some attendants, we'll make sure there are flowers for your offerings, we'll support you. And so it is, Shailaputri goes into the Brahmacharini form on the second day, and she goes into the mountains, and for over 1,000 years she meditates on Shiva. 1,000 years. Just a drop in the bucket for the goddess. It's nothing. For the first many hundreds of years, she eats only fruits and flowers. And then for a few more hundred years, she drops the fruits and flowers and she eats only the bilwa leaves. And then she takes only water. And she's deep in meditation. I'll tell a little bit more of her story because it's a little bit funny. So she's in deep meditation one day, and then she opens her eyes. She stands up to go about the rest of her day, and a strange-looking hermit yogi guy comes up to her. And he says, "Maiden, what are you doing? You're clearly of noble birth, I can tell. You are beautiful. What are you doing wasting here away on this business? Go back down to wherever your parents are and get yourself a good husband and live a good life of a noble woman." She says, "I already have chosen my husband, and it's Shiva, and I'm here waiting for him." And the yogi says, what? Shiva? That naked yogi wandering around covered in ashes, adorned with disgusting serpents, and followed around by this posse of ghouls and goblins and disgusting smelly creatures? That's who you want for a husband? Well, her eyes start to bulge out of her head, hearing someone speak of her beloved in this way. But he goes on. He says, drop this business completely. I will give you all of the merits of my own meditation. If you will leave this mountaintop, forget your dreams of marrying Shiva, and go find yourself a noble husband. Well, she's had it. She says, how dare you? I will give you all of my merits of my meditation and start again from the beginning if you take back your vile words. She says, Shiva doesn't care about outer appearances, and nor do I, and only a lowly being would think only of outer appearances. She swivels around, as teenagers do, and starts to walk away. And she puts her head down, and she's looking at the ground, trying to calm her mind back into her cool, meditative state. And as she's walking, she sees the feet of the yogi, who had jumped in front of her to block her pathway. Then she looks up, and who does she see? Shiva. Playing tricks. She starts to bow down, and he grabs her by the arms, and he lifts her up, and he bows to her feet. And then he looks up at her, and he says, oh, my darling, I was only testing you. I was teasing you. You have won me over with your intelligence, with your commitment, with your determination, with your salvana. I am yours. You are my goddess. I am your slave. Om Namah Shivaya. So that's Brahmacharya. She's the second day. And she represents determination. She represents tataha, which means dedication in practice, high commitment. And she represents discernment, the intelligence that develops. First we start as emotional beings, and then we have to develop intelligence. So if you know a teenager who's stuck in the emotional space, they need some discernment, they need something for their intellect to munch on, to chew on, they need knowledge. So Brahmacharya, the second day of Navratri, is a good day to think about what do I want to learn, or to commit to learning something, especially something sacred, or to commit to any worthy, discipline. But we want to remember that good discipline is rooted in love. It's not discipline for discipline's sake alone. And that is Brahmacharya. Okay, next, third day is Chandraghanta. This is the newlywed. So Chandraghanta is the form of the goddess on her wedding day and in the early stages of marriage. And she represents beauty and sensuality and awakening sexuality and awe. But she also represents courage. And here I will quote my guru, who would say, a married woman is a brave woman. So this is Chandraghanta. She has courage, she has bravery, but she also has beauty. And Chandraghanta means, well, it means the moon that's shaped like a bell, or it means the bell that's shaped like a moon. It is said that she wears the moon on her forehead as an adornment on her wedding day. This also represents her marrying Shiva, because he also wears the moon, and there's a whole story about that. But she also rings a bell, and this is the ritual bell. So on their wedding day, she appears beautifully adorned, dressed like a noble woman, which she is, with all of her beautifully adorned wedding guests, her family members, her attendants, and so on. And Shiva comes in his most terrifying form, with his ganas in their most terrifying forms. And when Parvati's mother, Meena, the delicate Apsara, sees this terrifying form of Shiva and all of his ganas, she goes into shock and she passes out. And then Parvati, the bride, looks around and she sees all of the wedding guests are falling to the ground in shock. So she gets a flash of insight. What is she going to do about this? And what she does is she transforms herself into a terrifying form. And she takes the bell from her head and she rings it. Now these ganas, what they were doing is playing strange instruments with metallic sounds and banging strange drums. It was a raucous, a din. And she rings a single bell and all the ganas stop. And then she goes up to Shiva and she says, I know you don't care about appearances, and neither do I. But for the love of God, for the sake of your mother-in-law, please put on your more pleasing form. And so Shiva puts on his pleasing form, the ganas put on their pleasing form, and the wedding takes place very beautifully, very sensually, and everyone is happy. Now what does this bell represent? And what do these ganas and the terrifying form of Shiva represent? All those forms and all their sounds and all the disgusting strangeness is the thoughts. The invasive, strange, useless, poisonous thoughts that invade. And her bell is the ritual bell. Does the bell make a multitude of sounds? It makes one sound. Dang, dang, dang. So when we sit down to do ritual, we ring the bell. Okay? And it stops the mind. It calms the mind. It deepens the mind with that one sound. So Chandraganda is the courage of the goddess. Chandraganta is the insight, that flash of insight that she had to know what to do in that moment. And Chandraganta is the ritual bell that we ring to focus the mind. For the devotee, I think of this as the deepening commitment to the divine, that singular focus, maybe on one form, that you marry your own Ishtadevata. You can love all of the forms, but you marry one form in particular, and that focuses your mind. Okay. Fourth day, Kushmanda Day. What do the in-laws want after the marriage? What do the parents want after the marriage? They want a grandchild, right? So this next form, Kushmanda Devi, she is the goddess of the warm cosmic egg. She is the goddess who is about to become pregnant, or is maybe in the early stages of pregnancy. And what this represents is the goddess is the mother, the womb of all of creation. It is that creative force. This form of the goddess carries a pot of honey, and that represents the womb, and it represents the juiciness of creativity. And so that fourth day, the day of Kushmanda Devi, is the day of the creative force, the creative impulse, which we all have as human beings, because we're all born of the divine. So, of course, it could be a day to do prayers for a baby to come into one's life, but it can also be a day to do prayers to awaken a creative spark, or to begin a creative endeavor, or to get your creative juices flowing like honey. Okay? And so then we have Skandamata, and this is the form of the goddess holding her baby, her firstborn, Skanda the warrior. Okay? And that form of the goddess, she doesn't hold any weapons. Most of the forms are holding some kind of weapon, but Skandamata is only holding the baby and 2 lotus flowers, and then in her fourth hand she has Abhaya Mudra, which is the mudra of fearlessness. Have no fear. Doesn't mean she's fearless, though she is. It means in her presence you have no fear. Right? Like the baby in the arms of the mother has no fear. She represents the love of the mother that makes the child courageous. Because this Skanda, the child, is going to have to fight an enormous bloody battle. Okay? And so, for us as devotees, it's a reminder that we can go into the lap of the mother, and she will give us courage with her love. So more love gives us more courage. Okay? That's the 5th day. 6th day is Katyayani. And this is the beginning of the Divine Mother becoming quite fierce. This is Katyayani, is also Durga, is also a Mahalakshmi. Just like you have different names, you have nicknames, and you have different people that see you in different ways. Someone calls you daughter, someone calls you mother, someone calls you sister, or someone calls you husband, brother, son, so on, okay? So, Katyayani is also Durga. And this is the form of Durga that fights Mahishasura, the buffalo-headed god. Some of you have heard this story. It's a big, big story. But what happens is the Asura, the demon, sorry, I said God, Mahishasura is kind of a demonic force, really means against dharma, disruptive to dharma. And that really means your own inner disruptions of dharma. So in the West, these to be about this side of an argument and that side of an argument, these people and those people. Dharma and adharma is happening inside of you. So the divine within you is that which is opening up pathways to what is most auspicious for you. And the asura principle in you is that which is obstructing what is auspicious in you. So Manishasana represents all of these poisons like obsession, infatuation, anger, rage, depression, jealousy, lethargy. And so he takes lots of different forms. And Durga, or Katyayani, she is able to fight all of the different forms. She's fierce and she's adaptable, which is how we have to be in life. But the whole time she's fighting, she's smiling. Because she herself isn't angry, though she's fighting anger. She's full of love. And so this form of the goddess for us, Katyayani. She teaches us to be adaptable in the face of difficulty, but also to be stable in our commitment to get to the other side of those difficulties, to eradicate those inner poisons so we can continue on an auspicious pathway. And that is Katyayani. She really represents dharma, meaning what is most auspicious for each of us. Okay? Then we have Kalaratri. Kalaratri, she is like the goddess in menopause. This is the dark night of the soul goddess. This is Kali, and she is the one who faces the deepest difficulties. So anyone who's gone through menopause knows that whatever gunk is still remaining will come up then. And if you're not aware of it, then the person you live with is definitely aware of it. Okay? And you get to the other side of it, but you have to face those inner demons, those inner forces that are coming up from your past, coming up from old habit patterns. And this is Kalaratri. She is extremely independent. She doesn't give a you-know-what, a flying you-know-what about what anybody thinks. She doesn't need to be liked. This is the full, independent, feminine. Okay? Seems like rage. What it is I'm not going to try to please anyone else anymore. I will please myself by eradicating everything that is obstructing me on the inside. And this is Kalaratri, and she seems terrifying if you don't know what's really going on. And so for the devotee, for us, this is letting the goddess guide you into the depths, into the scary places, so that you can finally let go of any other final obstruction on the inside. And then when we get to the other side of it, we're at the 8th day of Navratri, and we have Mahagauri. Mahagauri means the most radiant. And this is like the grandmother form of the goddess. She loves all inclusive. All are her children, like the grandmother. I'm not a grandmother yet, but my kids always say, Mama, why do you call all of our friends baby? Baby this, baby that, darling, because they're all my babies. This is Mahagauri. All are her children. No one is rejected in her presence. Do you think you can be like that? This is the call to the devotee of the Mother Divine. You don't say, I like you and I don't like you. You're good and you're bad. This side is the good people and that side is the bad people. Because you know what? The goddess devours all in the end, without excuses. And the goddess birthed all. And so at this stage, you have fought through all of those demons with ferocity, and you see all are my children. This is all-inclusive love. That's the 8th day. Very sacred, auspicious day. And it's still yet to come, so you can make it a special day. The 8th day of Navratri. We are on the 5th day today. Siddhidatri is the 9th form, and she is the bestower of divine skill, divine mastery. She's the one who bestows enlightenment, which is the final stage. It's also the best skill of all, enlightenment, the greatest mastery. But she also represents the blessing of intuitive skill, skill for helping other people. So in the Vedic tradition, people that study Ayurveda and Jyotisha or Vedic astrology, they are devotees of this 9th day, Siddhidatri, because they want to have good skill to serve others. They need intuition to be on point. They need their knowledge to be on point. And so Siddhidatri bestows good knowledge, good skill in the service You have to get all the way to that 9th day to not use your skill and intuition for selfish reasons, for distorted reasons. And so this is the kind of skillful person we want in our life. If we're looking for healing and guidance, we want someone who has the blessing of Siddhi Bhakti, that they can be objective in their ability to advise us, to counsel us, to see what's what in an objective way. Siddhi Bhakti blesses with that. And I would say for the devotee, Siddhi Bhakti is about total trust in the divine. At that point, there's no doer, there's no me and you. There's only the divine, and that way we can see what's what. We have keen jnana, which means deep knowing at all times. This is the goddess, the 9 forms. Thank you for listening. Let me share. Jai Ma.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, back to the emotional state. The next chant is a Kali chant, so chant like you don't feel a slide.
Chris, you can see here. Take a little break.
Jaya Jagat